Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of Cuz You Know Football. Guys, we way deep into the way too early playoff predictions. We got a special guest coming on. We're gonna break down the NFC East. We're gonna break down the AFC East, and we're gonna get to the bottom of some things. And we're gonna see what's going on. We're gonna see what the actual factuals really break up to. J Big, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Listen, we had to bring your favorite back on the show. I know it's my mama's favorite. I don't know how that happened, but my mama's favorite and your guy's favorite, JB. Welcome back, baby. How you feeling, bro? Can
What's
you hear me?
going on, man? I'm feeling good. Feeling good. What's good with you?
Good, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
glad to
What's
have you.
good? Everything all right?
Everything's great, man. I heard you had a show last night and everything, man.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, I just my man's actually had a set. Shout out to my boy Scoop. Shout out to watch this podcast. But he had a little set and me and him did a song that's actually not even out yet. It probably won't drop until like December, but we did, performed it for a nice little crowd full of spitters. It was a good time.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, cool. So of course you know what's going on today. We talking about the East teams, the AFC East and the NFC East. Normally, I'd get you on with the West team because you know your Broncos is in the West. But today I decided let's switch some things
Yeah.
up. Let's see what's going on with these teams because you know everything. And before everybody else, and this is something that I
But
gotta say about you. Nobody else really knows this. I called him yesterday. I called JB yesterday to get ready. He's already ready. That's what I love about you. Yo, already
nah,
ready. Don't
facts.
need time. Okay, cool. What's the topics? Okay, let's go. Everybody's not built like that.
Yeah, you know me. Got to do a little bit of research, but this football thing is what we
We
do.
live this.
So
We live this. So,
you know it.
all right, here we go. So, I decided let's talk about, we could start in the AFC East. Let's talk about the New York Jets.
Hmm.
Now, I'm gonna say their biggest additions and their draft
Okay.
picks, and then just tell me what you feel as though uh their offseason was like. So the New York Jets, their biggest additions
Oh,
was Justin Fields, quarterback Justin Fields, Brandon Stevens, cornerback, and Andre Cisco to safety.
hmm
Biggest losses was Aaron Rodgers, of course, Devontae Adams, of course, and DJ Reed, their cornerback. Now
hmm
in the draft, they did. Oh, where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? There we go. There we go. They got in the first round, they got Armand Mebu, offensive tackle. In the second round, they got Mason Taylor, tight end. And then in the third round, they got Zary Thomas, the cornerback. So of course, news also breaking news. Justin Fields just got carted off with something happened to his toe. So we got to see about his injury too. Something happened to his toe though. But what do you feel about the Jets offseason and how we got here and how you feel about it?
I mean, honestly, like I actually do like Justin Fields. I just feel like it takes an exceptionally well quarterback to go to the Jets and be successful. So I even though it's a pretty good pickup, especially losing Aaron Rodgers. You don't got to go to the draft. You got a young quarterback that has some upside to him. I just think with the Jets being the Jets, it's not going to show on the field as good as it shows on paper. Um, I think they had a pretty good draft, but once again, it's the Jets. Something about them just screams wrong picks. Like I don't, I don't know. Like they don't really make they had Sauce Gardner in a couple years they've done good on defense,
Uh-huh.
but I
Uh-huh.
just feel like every time they go in the offensive direction, it kind of just goes wrong. And then as you can see, like Justin Fields gets hurt, so it's unfortunate. It's not always like their fault, but it's just another unfortunate situation where now where do you go from here? You know what I mean? I think with the veterans that they lost, I don't think it was too crazy because yeah, Devontae Adams is who he is, but you still have, Garrett Wilson and a couple other young wide receivers over there. Aaron Rodgers wasn't playing like Aaron Rodgers, so it
Hmm.
kind of looked still regular. Um, Yeah, I don't really. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. So I still see them being a below average team, if we shall say.
Right. Now, of course, this year they got Aaron Glenn as their head coach. He was defensive coordinator for the Lions last year. Now I will say this. Listen, I know
Mm.
nobody wants to hear this. The roster for the Jets is a talented roster. Okay, it is a talented roster. Now they got to play a certain way.
It always is.
They got to play a certain way. Now, if they play it a
Yep.
certain way, now if they lean on that defense and running the ball and using Justin Fields' legs and Brees Hall and stuff like that, they could. I could see them getting 8 wins this season. Now, what's more likely going to happen?
Nah, that's wild.
Nah, they could absolutely
Four
get eight
wins.
wins. They could get. I
Four
said could.
wins.
I said could. I said could. I said could. They could get 8 wins if
Could get 6 wins.
listen. That
Could get six
I'm saying they can get 8. Now
six
that's not to
wins.
put you
They
in the
could get.
playoffs. I don't think they're a playoff team, but they could get 8. 6 is probably more likely. That's probably if I was to pick a number, I'd probably say they're probably going to win 6 games. But if they do it, if they just go to their strengths and say, "Hey, listen, we're not going to try to do more." That offensive line is not good at all, so they could win 8 games, man. I'm not mad at them. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not mad at them. I just want to see the direction that they're going in.
And it sucks because I really like Aaron Glenn a lot, and I really do want him to be successful over there. I just, it's the Jets.
Hmm.
I don't really know what else to say about them.
Okay. All right, cool. So we're gonna stay. Let's stay in the AFC East, right? Let's go over. Let's
Hmm.
go over. I want to talk about these Miami Dolphins real quick. We're gonna flip flop back and forth, but I want to talk about. I want to stay there for 1 second. So the
Okay.
Miami Dolphins, the offseason for the Miami Dolphins.
Yep.
Their biggest additions was Zach Wilson, quarterback, James Daniel, offensive guard, and they got a safety. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce my man's name. Shout out to you though. Ify,
In
we'll call
it's
him Ify. Yeah, yeah,
Ifamonu, Ifamonu,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, now there's a lot of like Africans in the NFL now. These names is whoo, they get difficult now.
They either be African, they be Haitian, they be all it's getting real in the NFL now.
Yeah. Their losses. They lost Javon Holland, the safety, Raheem Mostert, the running back, and Braxton Berrios, wide receiver. Now their picks, their draft picks. So they had a first, a second, and 2 and 3 fifth-round picks. I'm just going to say the first of those picks. So they got their first round pick. They got Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle from Michigan. Their second round pick, they got Jonah Sevilla, offensive guard. And in the fifth round, they got Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle from Maryland. What you feel about the state of the Dolphins now?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of like what they did. I mean, it's hard when you lose a amazing player in a Javon Holland, but
Hmm.
I do like Ifamanu. Um, he's big guy, like 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", pretty rangy. I think he's going to help with that defense a lot. I love the draft picks. Got a couple D linemen in there to help out. And also names, couple names that you didn't name that they
Minka
drafted, who I think could
Fitzpatrick.
really
I
help this
didn't.
team. Who?
Minka Fitzpatrick. They got Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, but not even talking about Minka because that I actually forgot about that, which is crazy. I shouldn't have. But they drafted Ollie Gordon, the running back from I think Oregon State, Oklahoma State, one of them orange and black teams, who was a very good running back in
Oh, yeah, in
college.
the sixth round.
Yeah, and then they also drafted Quinn Ewers, the quarterback from Texas, in the seventh round. So just think if Tua can't get it done, they might actually have their guy to put in place at some point because we're not going to talk about Zach Wilson. Like We know what that show is
Hey
already.
man, give shout
But
out to Zach Wilson, man. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm just
I
playing.
mean, shout out to him, but he ain't do nothing nowhere. So we ain't going. That shouldn't even been at the top of the list of major additions. But they added to their line. They're going to go with A-Chain as their running back. Get another spell back in the draft. I kind of like the direction they're going in. I think they're going to do a little bit, maybe not wins wise. I don't know, but I think they're going to do a little bit better than they did last year. Um, will it make them get them to the playoffs? I'm not sure about that, but I think they'll have a better season this year than they did last year.
Okay, well, you basically said what I felt because first I was like, "What you mean it's gonna be good?" Because this year is gonna be a rough year for them. I'm not a Tua guy, so the only reason I don't like the direction that they're in, you're right when you said Ollie Gordon, you're 100% right. Chan, when they got Minka Fitzpatrick, you're right. But they also, like I said, they lost Jalen Ramsey. They lost the offensive line never really been good, and I have no idea why they don't highly invest into offensive line if they believe into it like that. Like he ain't one good hit away from it getting ugly for him. This year's gonna be rough
Yeah.
for them. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like I don't like I didn't like their roster last year or the year before that, and everybody kept telling me how great of a roster they had and how you know what I mean, how they can't be stopped. And I'm like, I'm not really feeling it, I'm not really seeing it. They're rebuilding. Quinn Ewers, I'm not going to give my opinion on what I feel about Quinn Ewers. I just want to see him develop. I think that's something I learned along the way. You don't really,
Mhm.
you can give your opinion about did they fill their voids and stuff like that, but draft picks are going to hit and miss all over the place, and we don't know right now what's going to happen with that. So
Yeah, of
him being
course,
a seventh round
of
draft
course.
pick, eh, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard for me to
But
really look
you
at
know
it.
what it is when it comes to him, though. I kind of always question why he wasn't getting talked about as much and why he got drafted so low. Because I mean, he's really a better quarterback than a lot of these quarterbacks that got drafted ahead of him. He's kind of, I mean, he had some up and down times in college, but that's what happens when you play a lot better competition. But he's also played very well against very good teams too. So it's kind of like one of those things where I think he could be like one of those. You look down the line, not this year. He's not going to help them this year, pretty much. But you see him down the line a little bit and say, "Yo, that might have been the steal of the draft, possibly."
Okay,
So that's why I really speak on him and what his upside could be, because he was in the mix with a lot of these other quarterbacks, as far as Heisman, as far as just quarterback play all over. And it was kind of like weird to me how he hasn't been getting the shine that some of these other quarterbacks are getting, and we kind of know aren't that good.
okay, okay, cool. So now we're going to jump over to the NFC East for a little bit. Let's talk about these New York Giants. Let's get into these Giants a little bit. Pause. That sounded weird. I'm not even with that. Their biggest additions, their biggest additions was a Paulson Adebo, the cornerback. That's who picked up Javon Holland, the safety from the Dolphins, and they got Darius Slayton, the wide receiver. Their losses, they don't really have any big losses to be real with you. Because that team that was a rough roster last year. So they of course, with the third overall pick, they picked up Abdul Carter, edge rusher from Penn State. Also in the first round, they got Jackson Dart, quarterback from Ole Miss. And in the third round, they got Darius Alexander, defensive tackle from Toledo. I mean, they also got Cam Scatterbo as well, the running back from Arizona State. So I tell you what, these Giants are interesting. Matter of fact, let me say the Giants first, real quick. The
Mhm.
Giants, all right, so they have the second best defensive line in their division, but they also might have the second best defensive line in the NFL. The New York Giants defensive line is crazy. So across that defensive
Yeah,
line,
they're up there definitely.
they got Raheem Nunez Roches, they got Dexter Lawrence, they got coming back with Roy Harris, Brian Burns. Um, this defensive line is stacked. You know what I mean? I like what they're doing there now. Russell Wilson, of course, they got Russell Wilson. That's going to be their quarterback. Jameis is backing him up. Shout out to Jameis. I always love Jameis. um, Malik Neighbors is yeah, I mean is there. I would say more them. I like the direction that they're going in. They're still I gotta see about Jackson Dart. I don't love certain positions, quarterback and defense and edge rusher. I like to see if you're not going to take them in the first five picks, I would like to see them drop. I don't think he's that good of
Hmm.
a guy, but they get him in the first round, we'll see. I like the direction that they're going in, investing in their defensive line, and taking a step back this year with the quarterback play to invest into the weapons and offensive line. So I'm curious to see with them. They could they're not going to get swept in the NFC East this year. You know what I mean? They're going to beat some teams, so they're going to be splitting, and I think they're going to be interesting this year.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going in the right direction. As much as I might have criticized the hype Scatterboo got, I do think he could be a very good piece to that offense.
Hmm.
Um, I I kind of just look at Russ like, what Russ are they going to get? Because we've seen Russ since he's left Seattle be very hurtful to a team, but then have spots of helping a team and playing okay and pretty good. But yeah, like you said, the direction they're going in with everything they're doing, adding more to that defense, like Javon Holland to me is one of the best safeties in the league.
Hmm.
Um, I don't really think that's a question. And to add him to that defensive line and that front seven, I think that'll help a lot. Malik Neighbors is definitely
Oh, and they still got
a
Kayvon
real
Thibodeau
deal
too.
young wide receiver. Um, and they actually did bring him up either, but it's just yeah, they got a lot of good pieces. They could they're definitely going to beat some teams. That division is really pretty tough when you look at it. Like
Hmm.
all four of those teams are definitely making strides to get there, and then you got that powerhouse Eagles team that's going to be hard to beat still. So yeah, I like what the Giants are doing. I like that they're getting away from the omen over their team with that quarterback for the past few years.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, cool. Well, we're gonna stay in the NFC East. Let's go with them Dallas Cowboys. They could be a little tricky this year. I don't know. The different they not now they have the biggest or the widest amount of opinions about how good they'll actually be. But I think that's always the Dallas Cowboys.
Every year, every year they're great on paper, and then it's a matter of what are they really going to do. But like I always say with the Dallas Cowboys, I mean they made I think adding George Pickens was major. You get somebody there that could really, really help spread the field and get CeeDee Lamb, either get him more open or have a good second threat to where it's going to have a field day in one on ones. I just think their whole success goes to how can they establish their running game? And they picked up Javonte Williams, who he's been injured with us, runs a little timid and scary since the injury, but if you could get him going, he's still pretty good. Um, I think that it's all a matter of getting the ball out of Dak's hands as much as possible. Every time they try to give Dak these 50 pass attempt games and stuff like that, it's just bad for him. If they could figure that out, I think they could be a dangerous team. That defense, as long as you got Micah Parsons and those pieces over there, I think Trayvon Diggs he'll be back this year off his injury.
Yeah.
Um, Once you got those pieces like that, they got a pretty good defense. So it's a matter of seeing how they want to play the game instead of who's on their roster.
Yeah. So depending on how they decide to play this game. If they're running the ball more, I definitely feel as though it would not shock me that they got 10 wins. But what's more likely and what we always watch is they're gonna make Dak Prescott is the highest paid quarterback in the NFL right now. Wherever the ranking you may have him,
Hmm.
I don't even have him as a top 10 quarterback. Um, he's the top paid quarterback in the
Yeah, I don't
NFL
know
right
if he
now.
is,
And they're gonna
and I
throw
think that's
with
his
it.
biggest downfall.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not
Go ahead,
it's
my
not a
bad.
knock against Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is good. He's not best quarterback in the league
Hmm.
paid good. And the problem is now you
Hmm.
can't give him all of the pieces that he needs to be successful. I would love, honestly, between like I was gonna say between me and you, like people ain't watching this, but between me and you, I would love the Dak to get to another situation where he's just coming in, the roster is constructed, and he just has to manage the situation. I think he could win a Super Bowl in that situation. How this roster
Yeah.
is set up, like if this is remember when he was a rookie and DeMarco Murray went crazy? That's kind of how this got to look again. If
Hmm.
they can figure out to get in their heads, we
Yeah.
make this look like that, they can overachieve. But I definitely think that they'll probably get around like 7 wins. That's what I'm seeing from them because they never utilize their
They've
roster
had
properly.
enough money to do. They've had enough money to do what they need to do to be more successful. They just won't do it. You just running backs are cheap. Get a good running back in there. Give the running back the ball.
And this year they
They
got
dropped the
three
ball not
running
getting
backs,
Derrick
but
Henry,
this year they have three running backs that they're like,
but
okay,
but
Javante
they had the
Williams, Miles
opportunity to
Sanders,
get,
and Jaden Blue, the rookie Jaden Blue.
yeah. But all of those guys are kind of like guys you can't really give bulk of the carries to, and they have injury issues and stuff like that. They had the opportunity to get Derrick Henry and give him the ball 25 times a game, and they didn't do it. So when I say like get paid to play, like that's what I mean. Like you could have gotten one of the best running backs in the league and helped your offense out completely. Instead, you tried to penny pinch. You went and got Zeke Elliott again, like
Which
that was going to help you,
I don't know what that's about.
and then you threw the ball to CeeDee Lamb 500 times. That's not going to help. That's not going to equate to wins.
Mhm.
But I think this year it'll be a little more spaced out. I think it'll be a little better. They just got to take the ball out of Dak's hands a little bit more. 30 attempts a game is better, not 50.
Um, I'm even going more like below 30. I'm not saying like 10,
Nah,
I'm not
yeah,
saying like
yeah, yeah,
19, but
yeah. Nah, it should be in the 20 range.
yeah, yeah, like
Yeah.
28 is like, whoo, you might want to. I'm cool with that though, but like, you know what I mean? Um,
Sometimes games get out of hand. You throw a little more screens than usual. Just as long as they're productive reps, you could go in the low 30s. But when you got them, when you spread in the field and you're just trying to, find a man, find a man, find a man, and yeah, he's not going to play well, and he's going to make a lot more mistakes with the more attempts he throws.
mhm, mhm. All right. All right, cool. Let's bounce back over to the NFC, I mean to the AFC East. Let's talk about these New England Patriots. I've been hearing stuff about these Patriots. You know what I mean? All season I've been hearing the Patriots might be a playoff team. I'm like, okay, well, let's take a look at what's going on with them. All right, so their biggest additions, they got Milton Williams, defensive tackle. They got Carlton Davis, the cornerback, and they got Harold Landry, the linebacker. Their losses were like Jacoby Brissett, Jonathan Jones. Once again, their roster wasn't that great um, last year, to be honest. Who are we kidding here? Their picks in the first round, they got Will Campbell, offensive tackle from LSU. In the second round, they got Travion Henderson, running back from Ohio State. And in the third round, they got Kyle Williams, the wide receiver out of Washington State. What is your feeling about the New England Patriots coming into this year?
Can't forget they got my boy Steph Diggs too.
Any hurt though already? Yes,
Uh,
yes, they have Stephon Diggs. I forgot.
he's coming off an injury, I think.
Okay.
He might still be a little hurt or whatever, but But yeah, honestly,
Cardi,
I like
Cardi
it.
B's
I really.
boo. Cardi B for boo.
They got chill. They got chill, man. They
That's
tearing
what the
my
B
boy
is.
and Cardi
The
up,
B is for
man.
boo.
They tearing my boy and Cardi up, man. They got chill on them. Let them have their fun, man. But nah, honestly, I like what the Patriots are doing. They are really going in the right direction to get it right since Tom Brady left.
Mhm.
The quarterback's playing well. He ended the season off playing pretty well. I love getting Henderson. They're getting the pieces they need. I think Harold Landry's going to have a big year with that defense. Um, I think they actually are going to surprise a lot of people. And I think
Um,
especially when you're playing that shaky division, I think, where it's only like really one major team, I think they can shake it up a little bit and have a nice little run in there. I don't know if that means playoffs, but they could be the second best team in that division playing a certain way.
how many games did they win last
They're
year?
just young. I think they're just young. They just need the experience, and I think I think they're doing a pretty good job over there.
Okay. So last year they were 4-13. That's my problem with what everybody is saying about it. They're acting like they won 8 games last year. So I need
Nah, but
okay.
You also got to understand that even though they only had 4 wins, a lot of those games were very close games, and inexperience is kind of what their downfall was. Lack
That's
of
a good point. That's a
playmakers is
smooth
kind of
point.
what
That's a
their
smooth point.
downfall was. They have a great running game, you know what I mean? But like as far as, pass catchers, receiving and stuff like that, they kind of was shaky, had a lot even with the what they had there was a lot of injuries with that. You're dealing with a very young quarterback. I think it's just one of those things where you see that the dynamics were changing. They're just young. And I think this year, with an extra year of experience, you brought in some veteran guys to plug in some key places like pass rush, like wide receiver. You drafted well. I think people see that and turn that into some of those close losses, turn to wins. So now you go from 4 wins to like eight, like 9, 10 wins, but those 4 wins turn to 7, 8 wins if you look at it a certain way.
Yeah, yeah. So
So I think that's more what the hype behind them is more than anything.
so their cornerback room with Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez is going to be real good. That's legit. Jabril Peppers has always been
Amazing.
he's always been a good safety. Um, at this stage of
Yeah.
his career, is he going to make a huge difference? I don't know about that. Offensively,
He might fit that scheme well though.
he might. Ramondre Stevenson is coming back off of injury. They got Travion Henderson. They should be able to run the ball. So once again, Drake May, who is he? You know what I mean? I don't have enough information on him to say he's the guy or not the guy. A lot of guys have had a good rookie season and never really was that person again. I'm waiting to see this
Mhm.
year what Drake May is able to do in terms of leadership. This wide receiver room is not great. It's not bad, but it's not great. And he's got
Yeah.
a lot of names, and he's going to have to be the difference for compensating for a lot of these deficiencies. And I don't have the answer right now to if he can do it. And because of that, and this being his second year, I lean
Hmm.
towards no. Um, so I'm looking at them, and I'm looking
Mm.
at this roster, and I'm like, yeah, it's still like a strong 6-win team. 2 more wins than last year.
Yeah. I mean, I look at Drake May like this. I think Drake, like, I kind of look at it the same way I've talked about Bo Nix with us. I think he's the guy for them. I think scheme wise and fit and what they're trying to do and things like that, I think he can grow to be a guy that gets them to the playoffs, make a little playoff run in a couple years. Now, will that be next year? Probably not. 6 games does kind of look like realism, but at the same time, it's like that's big for a second year jump. You know what I mean? Like it's not often that. I mean, it takes a lot to see a team go from 3 to 4 wins to 9 wins. So I think 6 wins is gradually progressing in the right direction, and
Okay, I can live with that. I can live with that.
I think that's more what the hype is about. And let's be honest, Drake May is one of those guys that they are going to try to force feed us for the next couple of years that he's the future of quarterbacking in football, which we know that that's not always the case with these guys. But I think he can kind of be in that conversation of really good quarterbacks. I just don't think he's going to jump in the elite quarterback category.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Like, just like they've been trying to do with Justin Herbert for like ever. Like, is he? I mean,
Yeah.
is he going to be
But
like
you see what Justin Herbert gets to the playoffs and stuff like that, and they're
he got
like,
to the playoffs
"Ooh,
twice?
look, told y'all." I think that, but that's what I'm saying. How many? He ain't been in the league, but what?
But see, here's the problem though. The problem is, yeah, he got to the playoffs, and the only reason we still talk about Trevor Lawrence right now is because he came back from like 25 points down in the playoffs to beat him. And then we were talking about CJ Stroud having a sophomore slump up until he runs into the Chargers in the playoffs and he advances, and now his season don't look as bad. He still is a guy that like
But
these lesser quarterbacks are outplaying him when they meet up head to head. Is Drake May
but
going to be that guy? Or is he the
but
guy
look,
that says we can move up with?
remember what I say about force feeding you these quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence, they were trying to force feed us him forever. This might be the first year they're actually talking bad about him, like
Mm-hmm.
media wise.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Herbert, they still don't talk bad about him. Um, CJ Stroud is a guy that they're trying to keep us from. Like it's a pattern with these quarterbacks we're talking about. I think Drake May fits the category of trying to force feed us him. So now it becomes, can he play mediocre to a little bit above average to keep being that guy, or will he be Daniel Jones, never do anything, and then finally have no choice but to disappear?
Okay. Will this year I think we will start to get those kinds of answers. Um
Yeah, it definitely will start getting answers.
so let's move on to one of my favorite teams, the Washington Commanders. Very pleasantly surprised to see them coming into this year. Um
Mm-hmm.
so their off season. Let's try to hurry this up. Their off season, they got Debo Samuel, they got Laramie Tunsil, and they got Javon Kinlaw, defensive lineman. Their key losses, they lost Dante Fowler Jr., defensive end, and Damani Brown. They lost to the Eagles, and Jeremy Chin, the safety. Their draft picks. This is an important draft for them. They got Josh Connolly, offensive tackle from Oregon. They got in the second round they got Trey Amos, cornerback from Ole Miss, and in the fourth round they got Jalen Lane, wide receiver from Virginia Tech. What do you feel about Washington year two of Jaden Daniels?
I don't. Did you say that they also got Von Miller?
I mean, this isn't all right. Yeah, they got Von Miller too. Okay,
All right, now don't do that. Now, all right,
it's
listen,
not the same Von Miller. Okay, you know
hear me
that.
out. But you're right. But hear me out. He still can help a defense in situation.
Okay.
Put him in on third down fresh. He can still get to the quarterback. So I just want to say
Conditions.
that's
He
a
got
that's a
conditions now. This was Bond. This was Bond at
yeah,
one
but
point.
I
Now he
mean,
got
but
conditions.
age. Look, nobody beats Father Time. Let's be honest. So we can't act like Von's always going to be Von that we remember from the Broncos. It's years later. You know what I mean? He's older. He's went through like three leg injuries. Like
Mhm.
it happens, but he still can be a good veteran piece. And that's something that they've struggled with. That's why I highlight that, not just because it's Von Miller, but they highlight with pass rush and things on their defense. And now, not saying Von Miller's going to come in and give them 15 sacks in the season and dominate, but he can actually help in that field. Um, I just I like what they're doing. I think they have something. They got a young piece there. They got a young quarterback there that's scorching right now. Um, he's just getting started, if you ask me. Um, and they're riding that wave. I think they're going to actually be. And the Eagles are the team to beat, but I think it's going to mean a lot to beat Washington too. So, you know what I mean? I think if Debo's healthy, I think they're figuring everything out with Scary Terry contract or whatever. Um, that's going to be a great tandem. They got a good running game already. I think it's just I think they're going to again make noise because they made noise last year too. But I think it's going to be another great season for them as long as everybody stays healthy because
Right,
injuries happen and then somebody can play bad and it's over.
right. Of course, of course. Now, I will say this. The more I think about the Debo Samuels thing, I think they at this point in his career, he has to be used a certain way. I don't think
Mm.
he's the same line him up as the Z, and he can just break down a cornerback defensive line. So I think year two for Jaden Daniels needs to lean on running the ball a little bit more, at least to start. Figuring out getting Debo Samuels in situations that Debo Samuels can be successful. And then if that's the case, I think in the playoffs they could be a hell of a scary team. I think they're a team that could start off slower coming out of the gate, though. But I think that doesn't mean that they are worse. It just means that's kind of how this has to work. You know what I mean? Because year two, that's why they call it sophomore slump. Uh, they watched the tape of Jane Daniels last year. Okay, believe that they watched it. All the
Yeah.
things that he was that it looked very easy for him to do. They are coming in to take that away. Okay, so this has to look different. I just want to see that happen for his success.
I think Debo's in a position where they could use him as him. Like Scary Terry is their number one,
Yeah, but like I'm saying,
regardless
if they're
of
doing jet sweeps, if they're hitting them with jet sweeps and screens and stuff like that,
yeah.
that's how I do it. Then yes, I'm
No,
I'm very excited about that.
and I think they could, yeah, and I think they could do that because you also got to remember I think what's your name? I think Luke McCaffrey's going to have a better year this year too, in like the slot and stuff like that.
He
So I
can
think
absolutely
interchanging Luke and Debo in slot formations, in screen roles and stuff like that. I think that's going to be where Debo shines, and that's also going to help Scary Terry
right.
get open downfield and intermediate routes and stuff like that. So I think they're going to be able to use him exactly how you expect them to use him, and then they have a strong running game, so they're still going to run the
Mhm.
football,
Yeah,
and
I want to see him
that's
about
why Jaden
25 to
Daniels is going
28
to really be
attempts.
able to shine.
20. I want to see Jane Daniels 25
Yeah,
to
that's why
28
Jaden
passing
Daniels is
attempts a
going to be
game.
able to shine, and he's the first. Jaden Daniels is the first quarterback outside of Lamar, but Lamar doesn't, and that's when he has trouble. Jaden Daniels isn't scared to pull the ball down and run.
No,
A lot of times we
I
get these
loved what I
dual
saw from
threat.
Jane Daniels.
Yeah, a lot of times now in the NFL we get these dual threat quarterbacks that want to prove they could pass. Like
Hmm.
that's what kills Lamar every year.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
stops relying on his legs and starts trying to rely on his arm too much, and then he does that in the wrong times, and it messes him up. Uh, I think as far as Josh Allen, they draw up plays for him to actually run.
Hmm.
But Jaden Daniels was showing all year that when he doesn't see his reads, take off. And I think having more weapons that opened the fields up even more for him to do that and be successful in that. And I think because he does that, that was what the show started to become as far as him dropping back in the pocket and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I think he's going to be so successful. I think Jalen Hurts might be another quarterback that's not scared to pull it down and run, but he's also somebody that they gear a lot of plays towards him running.
Okay, that sounds good.
But yeah, I think Washington's going to be a team to beat this year. I might actually be traveling down there to
Mm.
see. I think the Broncos play down there this year, so I might go down there and check that game out this year. Though,
Okay, I
be a
might have
good
to see
game.
what's going on. I got people in DC now. You see, I got family there. I can go over there and just be there now. So that's what's up. I think the next team we need to talk about are these Buffalo Bills. I think that's a good place to go. I think that's a real strong place to go. Okay. So, Buffalo had a real good year last year. Uh in there, see now I have to because you brought up Von Miller with the Commanders. Um yes, Buffalo did get Joey Bosa. I'm not sure what that's gonna mean,
Still got to
but
do it.
But they got Joey Bosa, and they also got Joshua Palmer, the wide receiver from the Chargers. And their losses is, well, they lost Von Miller and and Mac Hollins, the wide receiver. Let's see what they did in the draft. All right, Buffalo, they got. All right. With their first round pick, they got Maxwell Harrison, cornerback from Kentucky. In their second round pick, they got TJ Sanders, defensive tackle from South Carolina. And in the third round, they got Landon Jackson, edge rusher from Arkansas. What's up with these Bills? Can they take a leap this year? Where are they at? Did they do what they needed to do?
I think they just in the same spot that they've been in. Like I think even with their like offseason acquisitions, um, it's kind of like I think it's a little bit better at wide receiver when you talk about Palmer for Holland. But I like Joey Bosa is the same thing as what they have with Von Miller.
Hmm.
He's getting up there in age, a lot of injuries. Bosa really just hasn't been who everybody expected him to be. I mean, he's been pretty good at times, but he just because of injuries and stuff like that, he hasn't been able to be that dominant force that like his brother is and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I think they're kind of in that same spot. I think they'll still be like they'll still run the division probably. Nothing's really changing there. You know what I mean? I do. I mean, what they did in the draft even is like, all right, y'all filled in some holes, added some pieces, but we'll see how it pans out.
Right. Okay. So yes, they pretty much have the same roster. Just a bunch of people are they're a year older, year smarter. James Cook, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman. Of course, they got Joshua Palmer. I do think that this wide receiver core is probably better than what they had with I think continuity wise than when they had with Amari Cooper, only because with Amari Cooper they expected they were like, I need him to be something. Where this year I don't feel as though they need any of them to be exact outside of exactly who they are. So I like that. Always got Dalton Kincaid. Love that offensive line. Yeah, so like it's funny because Buffalo always has. I mean, well, I'll say in the last like 5 years they've traditionally had like a top three or four defense, and it never really feels like it because their pass rushers never
Yeah,
um are up to par. And I feel as though they're still grasping for straws. They're a team, listen,
yeah,
if they want to win a Super Bowl, they're gonna have to give up a draft and go get a pass rusher. Like, I don't know what else to tell them. Yes, you're gonna have to like not you might have to give up like a whole draft to go get it until they get said pass rusher they're going to continuously be in the same situation because they're good enough to be second round to AFC Championship team, but without those pass rushers, they're not going to get over the hump. This team needs not one but like two pass rushers. Still,
yeah. But they don't have a lot of trade bait with having late picks every year.
that's why I said you're gonna have to give up the draft. You're gonna have to give up next year's draft too. But you can't like you're too good. See, the problem is when you start constructing a team the wrong way, the holes that you can't compensate for, you're now going to be too good. Once you become good, you're going to be too good to get them. So if you don't get the quarterback and you don't get the defensive ends, the pass rushers, well, now you're never like all of the ones that you're really going to that are going to make any difference. They're in the first three or four picks. You're not going to be able to get them. So until teams start from the very beginning saying, all right, this is how we're going to start to construct a team and do it the right way. Hey, listen, you're going to be in the situation. I can't feel bad for Buffalo. And you brought this on yourself. You prioritize other things. You know what I mean? But you're good now. You're going to have to give up a hefty treasure to go up and get a pass and get like some pass rushers because you need it. But stop acting like you can get old pass rushers and draft a third round defensive end and somehow you've moved the needle because you did not.
Yeah, I mean, I think they do a good job collectively of getting pressure on the quarterback. Me personally, I think they struggle more in like mid linebacker spots and DBs. Like I don't think they've had a dominant defensive back since what, Trey White, and he'd been hurt a lot.
I've
So
been hearing a lot. I've been hearing a lot about these. I mean, they're not like big name quarterbacks.
their safeties were always pretty good, but it's like I feel like they just have a certain scheme that works for them.
Yes, and
But
it's gonna look great in the regular
within
season.
that scheme, I think they do. I think they get good pressure on the quarterback. I think other things go bad. Like I think they give up a lot of yards. I think they tend to give up points. They give up the run game a lot because they fixate on having these smaller, quick, and workhorse D linemen. So now it kind of throws everything else off. But they don't. You're right. They do need a premier pass rusher, like prime premier pass rusher. Uh, yeah, but I don't think. I just think that's more on their scheme fit and less of trying to go find a household name. I think they need to scheme better. I think they need to fit their scheme better. Like you got your Ed Olivers and stuff in the middle and playing, that outside defensive tackle type, but he's small. He's great defensive lineman, but he's small.
Yeah,
So I think you need some bigger defensive linemen inside, and you need some quicker out defensive linemen outside. And but I do agree with you. They need to stop trying to go get these old guys to help and go get a real one.
I mean, unless you're just going to switch because they
But
run a 4-3, and unfortunately, for a 4-3 to work, you need some difference makers on the defensive line. Unless you're going to switch to a three
yeah.
four and just say, all right, we're never going to be able to get that. And well, can we get like a nose tackle that can take up a lot of space and we can use faster outside linebackers to go? Like, I don't know what you want. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. Like, you should have prioritized it. You didn't. And it's not, and they're going to win 12 games. You know what I mean? They're going to win 12 games.
Hmm.
It's going to bite them in the ass because I think now, even with Baltimore doubling down with the cornerbacks now that they have, the, it's going to be more of a heartbreak. It's going to be more of a heartbreak because it's going to look
Hmm.
like you're of the same caliber as the Chiefs and the Ravens, and you're not.
But let's be honest. They don't get over that hump because they get fixated on trying to make Josh Allen the hero. It's very similar to what the Cowboys do with Dak Prescott, but
But
it's
he's
in
better.
a different fashion. Yeah, now he's better, but they do it in a different fashion because they do it with his arm, but then they design all these plays for him to run, and then it's like he's another guy though. Like, don't get it twisted. He's another guy that when it's time for him to make decisions in the pocket,
Hmm.
he's gonna fuck up.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just like that does. He's
Hmm.
just better in all other aspects of
Okay, I
quarterback.
can live with. I mean,
But
I can live
I
with that.
think I think that's more so I think that's more so their issue than anything else. Like if you got a running back like James Cook who can give you 8 carries and 65 yards, and then you just kind of stop giving them the ball because you want to put everything on the quarterback, that becomes their downfall down the stretch.
See, the thing is,
But
I can live with that. I can live with that. Can the Buffalo
you're never
Bills
going to win that
fans
way.
can, can they deal with? Can they live with the fact of that's going to always be the problem?
You're going to win 14 games. You're going to win 14 games every year, and you're going to lose in the playoffs
Yes.
because that's what you do
Can they
instead of
live with that?
doing it the right way.
Can they live with that? I can live with that.
And I
And
think if you
can they
do
live with that?
that,
So that's all I'm saying about that.
oh, I mean, they don't have no choice. They're so used to it now. They're so used to it now that they don't got no choice but to live with that answer. They're so used to being very them now. It's like history. Phil Sims did it with the going to the Super Bowl all them times, never winning.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen is doing it now, being he's the MVP, he's the greatest quarterback in the league outside of Pat Mahomes. He's this, he's that, he's whatever, whatever. Get to the playoffs, can't get to the Super Bowl. He's just been that this whole time, and they're so used to it, they're okay with it because it's like, hey, look how far we got.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's always the problem. Um, All right, cool. So let's go with these Philadelphia Eagles. See what they got going on. The Super Bowl champion Philadelphia
Yo,
Eagles.
Eagles
I
Eagles
miss the
fans are the
days.
most
I miss
stressful
the
fans
days. I miss the
ever.
days when the Eagles fans would like rah rah rah, and it was like you could kind of calm them down with yo, you don't have, and it was a hard sell, but they would shut the fuck up when they ain't had no rings. But now they going to Super Bowls. Now they
Yeah,
getting rings. It's people don't
they
know if
are.
you're not on the East
It's
Coast, you ain't
it's
seen
stressful.
the bullshit.
Yeah, like you could watch the news and see how bad the Eagles fans are at the stadium, but to live around the Eagle fan population is the most stressful sports thing ever. They are the most annoying fans
Yes.
ever. And I got Eagles fans that I love to the core. I cannot stand talking sports with 95% of them. They are so
Yes.
annoying. Like
Yes.
it's bad. It's
Yes.
very, very bad. But
Then they gonna call.
rightfully
Then they gonna
so, I
listen. Then
respect
they
it.
gonna call you a dickhead, and then you gonna want to slap one of them. I'm telling you that right now.
And it's fucked up because like I got no choice but to respect it now because they are playing that good.
Yeah, whatever.
You can't talk to them about anything though, unless you're
Okay.
praising them. If you praise them, they'll love you. Soon as you criticize anything about them, yeah, you a dickhead. They hate you. They threatening you. They want to fight now. Now they talking
Yes.
about how sorry your bitch ass
Yes.
team is.
Yes.
Oh, it's
All
bad,
day.
man.
All day.
But I
Eagle.
will say this: they have officially got the best Super Bowl ring in Super Bowl ring history.
Don't tell them that.
That
I'm not
that
gonna.
ring is amazing. I'm not going. I can't lie. That ring's amazing.
All right. So it's funny because their biggest additions, it literally says none. I don't think that's gonna matter. I don't think they
If
want
it ain't
anybody.
broke, don't fix it.
So they lost Darius Slay, cornerback. They lost Josh Sweat, defensive end, and they lost Milton Williams, defensive tackle. That's their biggest losses. All right, in the draft, what the Eagles do in the draft? In the first round, they got Jahad Campbell, linebacker from Alabama. In the second
Mhm.
round, they got Andrew Makuba, safety from Texas. And in the fourth round, they got Ty Robinson, defensive tackle from Nebraska. The Eagles going to repeat.
Are they going to repeat?
Let's start there. Are they going to
I
repeat?
listen. As much as I don't want to say it, it's very, very likely that they can. It's really nothing we can do. Like that's why we just live in this time. It's very likely that they can. I think that drafting Campbell, I think they got it right. Because the one thing that's been their problem, they had some defensive back woes, but the one thing that has been a major consistent problem with the Eagles is they don't have any good standing linebackers. And
Mhm.
it's not that the linebackers aren't good, they're usually too small, too slow, not smart enough. Like it's always something that they won't get the job done. I think they finally got that linebacker that could get the job done, which is scary because you put that linebacker behind that defensive line, and now he can fly around and make plays that you want him to make. I think losing Slay, I think it was about that time to lose Slay because he's up there and you don't want to pay a guy in their defensive backfield, even though I don't think they're the greatest. I think they just play well within the scheme because you can't stop that front line. Losing Josh Sweat will be a little bit of a woe for a little bit till they find their other pass rusher again, but they got that down packed, their front line.
I mean, three's not
Um,
enough.
yeah, that's what. Yeah, so it's kind of like, all right, you took a couple away from them, they still got them all, the rest of them. So but yeah, that offense is just it's designed to be great, and I see Jalen Hurts gets a lot of criticism for being what they might call a game manager sometimes and stuff like that. Like, sometimes you can't knock guys for being what they are. Like, he is a game manager, but he's not a guy that the only way he could win is by not making mistakes because Jalen Hurts could go out there and make the throw. He could go out there and win on his legs. He could go out there and do all the things that you need your star quarterback to do. But he has the supporting cast better than anybody else. So until something happens within that, I think they definitely can repeat. Shit, they could back to back. You know what I mean? They're going to make noise again.
Of
They're going to
course,
have a fight
of
because that
course.
division is great, but they're going to make
So
noise again.
So yeah, I'm not understanding the Jalen Hurts hate. Like the man went up against Patrick Mahomes 2 times in 2 Super Bowls and outplayed him in both Super Bowls.
But I'm gonna keep it real with you. It's not. I don't think it's. I don't really think it's hate all the time. Like for instance, what Cam Newton has been doing. This is how Cam Newton talks about everybody.
Mhm.
And Cam Newton don't be wrong with the stuff he says, but fan bases don't like it and they want to jump down his throat and disrespect and talk shit. And, like we said, Eagle fans do. They want to call you a hater when you say something wrong. They want to do all that. So I think that's what it becomes. It becomes a fight of that now because it seems like the media is hating on him. Now, the other side of the media hate that he gets comes from, that underlining racism thing that we always kind of talk about when it comes to these black quarterbacks.
Mhm.
You don't want them to be
Eagles
successful.
quarterbacks are traditionally like all the great Eagles quarterbacks. They act like they weren't as good as they actually were.
Yeah, but honestly, I think the only one to me that was kind of overrated at a point was Donovan McNabb, and he was still great, but I think he showed the signs of watching the game sometimes saying, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Mhm. I get that.
Um,
I get that. And that's the problem. That's what Eagles fans are saying. Some of them are saying that about Hurts. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, all right, I get it. I get it. Like week in and week out, he's not hitting you with 350 passing yards a game. He's not. Do I get it? I understand it. I would, but all I'm saying is I would much rather go into a game with a guy that if I need him to outplay the other team's quarterback, he absolutely can
yeah,
and say he made all every week he's not going to do that. I would still prefer that he rises to the occasion.
I'll take 175 passing with about 75 yards rushing, one passing touchdown, and three rushing touchdowns, overthrowing for 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, and throwing like 3 picks.
Yes, that's
Like,
what I'm saying.
but
Like
people don't see that because it's not numbers beauty.
I get
Because God, because what's the name of the show?
cuz you don't know football.
A lot of guys don't know football, so they talk a certain way. But I do think that you have to factor in the way the team was built around him
Yes,
because
he's not carrying this roster.
this is different. Like even with comparing him and Cam Newton, their numbers are very similar. And people want to say, oh well, the difference is Jalen Hurts got the Super Bowls and the this, that, and the third. The difference really is if you compare Cam Newton's roster to Jalen Hurts' roster, ain't no comparison no more.
Well, hold on. See, the thing is, people are taking away from him that he's not carrying this roster, and there are guys that are carrying their roster, and I 100% agree with it. Now, if we want to have a conversation of he's their guy, though, he's the guy like you said
He's
about Bo Nix with Shaw. This
Yes,
is
he's
like
definitely.
even if you
You
put Josh
can't put no
Allen
other
into
quarterback
this,
in this. You can't put no other quarterback in this system
no,
in the
you
league
can't.
today
You
and do
can't put
this.
Josh Allen into this because he's not going to make everybody happy. Somebody's going to get less happy because of it. Jalen Hurts is able to play his game, and everybody can still remain to a certain degree happy. Now,
Yep.
the best case scenario for everybody is that Jalen Hurts, and I'm looking at their roster, they got possibly 3 weaknesses on this whole roster, and it's possible. You're hoping that Jalen Hurts, the left defensive end, Moro Ojomo, and at the same time, Kelly Ringo. You're hoping those 3 guys play bad all at the same time because the rest of the guys don't play bad. so, um, so the one thing I will say about the Eagles is they do have 2 strong contenders in the NFC. Now, my dark horse Super Bowl team is a dark horse Super Bowl team is the Green Bay Packers. Them having
Hmm.
the youngest roster in the NFL last year, going into this year, they got their weakness was wide receiver, and they need another defensive end. But that's why I say they're dark horse. We'll see how the chips fly. Maybe somebody overachieves. And the Rams. Those 2 teams are legitimately like I'm on your ass, Eagles. So we'll have something interesting to look forward to as the season progresses. But
I'm
I'm
not
not.
gonna lie. A major threat to them in the NFC still to me is the Detroit Lions.
I got too much to see. I got to see about Detroit.
They have a roster that can exploit the few weaknesses of the Eagles.
Yes, but they have two new coordinators, and
No,
when
yeah,
you so
we've
I
had
gotta
that
see.
discussion.
That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah,
gotta see what
but I'm
they're
talking
able to
just
do
like roster
accordingly.
and the way they've played in the past. Like, yeah, the coordinators are going to change things, but it's like
Because that's a culture
they're one.
change.
They're one of those teams that they have what it takes to beat the Eagles as far as roster to roster.
I mean, I would like
They,
them to get another pass rusher though, um,
I mean,
to go along with Aiden Hutchinson. But
I
outside of
think
that,
with Aiden Hutchinson being a number one, it's a little bit easier to find your number two because I believe that Aiden Hutchinson is going to be, when he gets fully healthy, a dominant, like those big time playmakers.
right?
I ain't gonna say TJ. I think TJ Watt does so much for his team. I put him in a place of his own. But I think like your Miles Garrett's and your even like your JJ Watson, I think he's going to be that caliber of a pass rusher when he can get back 100% healthy. So to find a counterpart for him is going to be a little bit easier for them, and they might have
Right.
it there,
Then go get it done. You know what I mean?
but
But that's
yeah,
all I'm saying.
they just
There's a
got that's what it
limitation
is.
there. When I'm looking at the roster matchups, there's a limitation there. And their culture, like I said, they got two new coordinators, man. Like that. So my
That
wisdom,
bothers you
my
more than it
wisdom
bothers me.
says, my wisdom says they're closer to missing the playoffs than beating the Eagles. I know that if the fit is a little bit more seamless, yes, they can compete with the Eagles. I would say that. But the reason I didn't name them is because, bro, their offensive coordinator is new and their defensive coordinator is new. And they've the first time they've
Mm-hmm.
ever done it. So I gotta see. That I gotta see. I'm not as big on that.
Mm.
Um
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the Eagles are definitely not just because they won the Super Bowl, but the Eagles are definitely just the team to beat now,
okay.
like NFL wise to me.
Okay.
I
Um
hate that. I hate that I said that though. That's
I
why.
know, I know, I know. But see, they're
But
not
it
gonna
does
know.
it
You know,
does feel good. It does feel good to not feel that strongly about the Kansas City Chiefs anymore.
I never hated the Chiefs. I,
No,
I I never hated the Chiefs.
I look, this is the thing. I
I
never
know they
really
in your
hated the
division. I
Chiefs,
never hated the
but
Chiefs.
them being in my division and seeing how we have since Pat Mahomes has started, we have only beat him like once. I just
So you
feel
start to grow
good.
resentment.
I feel yeah, I feel good to say like they're not the team to beat in the NFL right now. Like it feels good to say somebody else is.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Cool. Well, that was the off season for the AFC East and the NFC East. I think we killed that segment. So we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna quickly just run through because I already gave my playoff prediction, so I'm just reiterating my
Mhm.
playoff predictions. Um, and then you can go ahead and you can tell us your playoff predictions.
Okay.
Um, so staying in the NFC, I'm gonna say the Eagles, of course, come out of the NFC East. I'm picking the Green Bay Packers to come out of the NFC North.
Okay.
I'm still gonna go with Tampa Bay to come out of the South. I just don't trust the other teams enough to feel confident in
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
And I got the Rams coming out of the West. Now, my wild card teams, I have the Commanders as a wild card team.
Hmm.
I have I have the Lions in the playoffs.
Hmm.
That's an interesting one. But mine, I'm about to fuck your head up. I
No,
got the
you're not, because I
Cardinals
already know
coming
what you're
in.
gonna say.
I
Yeah,
got
I
the
know you was gonna
Cardinals
say.
coming in. The Cardinals coming into the playoffs this year. Watch it. Um, yeah, stay with the NFC, and then we'll move over to the AFC.
All right, so yeah, I got the Eagles really being the number one overall team in the NFC.
Mhm.
And I have them winning their division. I also have Tampa Bay winning their division. I also have the Rams winning their division. But I'm still leaning towards the Lions winning that division. I do agree with everything you say about the Green Bay Packers. I think it's going to be one of those like one game differences.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I think both teams will win double digit wins and all of that. I just think it's going to be that tiebreaker type thing. But I got the Green Bay Packers in the wild card. I have no, I don't have them.
So you said the Eagles, the
Washington. I
Rams, the
definitely got
Packers.
Washington in the wild card. I can see the NFC East having three teams in the playoffs this year.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to say it will be the Dallas Cowboys going to the playoffs.
Okay.
Um yeah, so that would that because how many because is it an extra team in the playoffs now? No, it's
Seven.
not.
Seven now.
So it's seven. So I just named what, six?
Yeah. So you
No,
said the
I named
wild card
seven.
teams. You said the Lions.
My
You
wild card
said
teams
the
were three.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
No, you said seven. You said the Cowboys, the
Green Bay,
Commanders,
Cowboys, and Washington.
and
Yeah.
yeah. So just so it's clear, just so when we cut this up, it's just say your teams one more time, just so.
So we got the Eagles winning their division. We got the Rams winning their division. We got the Lions winning their division. Tampa Bay winning their division. My three wild card teams are the Green Bay Packers, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Washington Redskins.
Commanders.
Commanders. Sorry. I don't think I've called them the Commanders since they've been the Commanders.
I will say the name is now finally starting to grow on me a little
Yeah,
bit.
it doesn't sound foreign to me anymore. I'm just so
It's
used
growing
to
on me now, but like I'm like the Commanders. Lord have mercy. Okay. So we're gonna go over to the AFC. So out of the East, the AFC East, I got Buffalo in the playoffs. Out of the North, I got Baltimore, of course, in the playoffs. Out of the South, I got the Houston Texans in the playoffs. And out of the West, I'm still until further notice, until I see something that factually is there that says the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to win the West, I'm going with the Chiefs. They're not far off. It's just we could now the gaps you can see them a little clearer now, but
hmm
I still think they're extremely valid. So so that's my four division winners. The uh the wild cards, I got your Broncos in there as a wild card. I have who did I have? I had the Broncos. I have actually I got my Colts in the playoffs this year. Um I got the Colts and I have which I am hating day by day. I don't know. I just don't think that they're going to do it. So I'm still going to go as weird as it sounds, the Cincinnati Bengals. I just don't believe the Chargers should be in the playoffs, but they do Charger things, and until they're not doing Charger things, I need to see it to believe it, and I feel as though they will
Yeah.
mess it up, even though they should. Um, but yeah, absolutely, that's what I got.
Okay. So I got start out. I still have um Kansas City Chiefs winning the division.
Okay,
Um yes, I got the Buffalo Bills winning the division.
okay.
I have the Houston Texans winning the division. But I have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning their division.
You got Pittsburgh winning the division.
Yes. And it's just weird to me because I
How?
just see them. But remember, we had this conversation before. I don't think that the Ravens are going to be terrible. I just think they're going to take like a small step back.
But they're cornerback room and they blitz like they're a team that with the new cornerbacks that they have the fact that they blitz so heavily, they don't need all the pass rushers.
Nah, I get it. It's just weird to me. It's weird for me. Um, I don't think. I think even though I think he's going to have another good season, I don't think Derrick Henry is going to be what he was last year.
Okay.
But say I do have them in a wild card. But so is that my four division?
You said yeah. You said
I said so.
Buffalo,
I said the Kansas City
Pittsburgh.
Chiefs,
Yep. Those are
Buffalo Bills, Pittsburgh Steelers, Houston Texans. I have in my wild card. I got the
Baltimore.
Baltimore Ravens making it. I have us making it. The Denver Broncos, and I have the Chargers making it to the playoffs again.
Listen,
So
I don't hate the fact that
so
the
I have
Chargers
us,
pick it.
and I think it is going to be either them or the Bengals. Um, I see it being them a slight over the Bengals. Uh, but yeah, I have our division having three teams in the playoffs again this year.
Mhm. So no comments about me saying the Colts are going to make the playoffs.
Nah, because see, here's the thing, right? I'm not mad at that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of these people that think the Colts is such a bad team. You know what I mean? Like I think they have to figure a few things out to go on. But they're a team that could go on a nice little run, and they have a good little roster over there that they could work behind and win some games. I just and I think until they really figure out their quarterback situation, I don't see it happening.
So yeah, so in the last 2 years, we were 9-8. The last 2 years, Gardner Minshew was one, and Anthony Richardson last year threw for 47% completion percentage. My fear is that so if Daniel Jones starts, um, I think that's definitely one more game because, like I said,
One more
47%.
game, what?
One more game that we're going to win to go from 9-8 to 10.
No,
10.
no.
Hold on, hold on.
If he
We were listen,
starts,
listen. We were 9-8, and our
I
quarterback
don't
threw for
care.
47%.
That's fine. That's fine. If Daniel Jones starts, because I'm not accounting him starting, but
I'm not either.
if Daniel Jones starts, you guys will not make the playoffs.
All right, so we're gonna
You
have to
will
wait.
play worse. It will be more games lost.
Yeah, I'm not
You'll
seeing
go
it.
from winning 9 games to winning 7 games, 6 games.
I'm not seeing that.
It's Daniel
However,
Jones.
the point that I was making was Anthony Richardson. I do not believe in year three is going to throw for 47% again. Even if it gets up to 55%, I think that will be enough for us to uh get to that to get over the hump with that.
Mm.
Um, that's really my feeling about them.
Yeah, now I ain't mad at you thinking they could go if Anthony Richardson is starting. I like him. He's a very explosive kid, very highlight type player. I think he could learn a lot from the way Jaden Daniels plays. But
The league could.
I don't,
I
huh?
think everybody but for about like five quarterbacks could.
It, but I just say being that like you know what I mean he has the tools to throw and like be that dual threat guy. I just think again, I think sometimes he gets scary, and then when he doesn't, I think he pulls down and runs too soon.
Okay.
So I think he's kind of like finding his way. I think if he watches a little more Jaden Daniels film, he'll kind of see what to do a little bit different. Because there's really not a lot of dual threat quarterbacks you can watch nowadays and learn from. Like you can't really learn from Lamar. Nobody does what Lamar does. But yeah, I don't. If Anthony Richardson is the quarterback, then yeah, I'm not mad at that. If Daniel Jones is the quarterback, then no, you guys aren't going to the playoffs
Okay. All right. Cool.
at all.
No, all right.
Like
All
I'm
right,
at
relax.
all,
All right,
at
relax. You
all.
see, I was
It's Daniel
chilling.
Jones.
I was going to chill.
It's Daniel Jones.
He'll be better than 47% completion percentage.
He'll probably also have way more turnovers too.
We'll see.
Completion percentage is an okay thing to look at, but you can also throw a high completion percentage and throw a lot of picks.
I mean, yeah, but he's not gonna get he wouldn't get the opportunity to throw that many times. I mean, like,
Oh, he's going to get the opportunity to throw picks.
no, I'm saying he's not throwing the ball but so many times. Like neither one of the quarterbacks in coming into this season, if we're smart, we're handing the ball off a whole lot.
Cool. When it's time for him to throw, he's going to throw picks.
Okay. All right, cool.
I don't care if he throw the ball 20 times in a game. He going to throw 2 picks.
So he threw the ball 5 times, 3 of them picks, huh?
If he throw the ball 5 times, he throwing 1 pick. He'll start a game off. He'll start a game off with a pick.
Oh no. Oh no.
He ain't it. He ain't never been it to me though. So I ain't. But
I don't he's not it for me either, and I don't want him to be it. That's my fear.
nah. When I'm saying he ain't it, I'm saying he stole
No,
he
I'm
stole
serious.
fame and money from a lot
My
of
biggest
quarterbacks.
fear, my biggest fear is us making the playoffs with Daniel Jones because we're not gonna be able to fix this now. Now that fucks everything up. But we only got about 2 minutes
That'd
left,
be
so let's
bad.
wrap this up.
Y'all make the playoffs with him. He gonna get paid everything. It's gonna get ugly.
Yeah, that's not. Let's hope that doesn't happen. So we appreciate you coming on. Let's wrap this up so that because we only got a couple minutes.
Yes,
So
sir.
of course, you can catch the full episodes on Spotify and YouTube. You can catch the reels on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're all over the place. JB, you already
Facts.
know what it is, cousin. You know I respect where you coming from with this. It hurts me every time to
Appreciate you.
say this, but
Because you don't
unfortunately,
believe it.
cuz you don't know football. You both freak. And just like Martin said, I'm going to see you when I see you. Peace.